PJNet.TV Monday night, 9 o'clock on the East Coast, and we are running a bumper. We have our guest Doug Carter standing by. The chat room's waiting. We are recording and streaming on all available platforms. We switch to Studio 8 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a brand new day. Welcome to PJNet.TV. I'm your host, Coach Prasick, and wherever you are watching this, we sure are glad that you are here because we are showing you game changers tonight. If you are a writer or if you are a blogger, the next 20 minutes could, in fact, change your life. Do you see what I see behind me? Folks, Doug Carter, our guest tonight, is standing by, and he and I have been collaborating on this project. And I'm going to show you a clip. We will show it again later in the program, but for now, I want to show you what you can do with a simple logo.
Hey, we need to think about thinking. Do you really know why you believe what you believe? I'm Doug Carter. I'm a philosophy and religion professor, and I write about cultural issues from a biblical perspective.
And there it is from the professor himself, Doug Carter, who is standing by to share with you the journey that he has been on for about, at least I know, 3 weeks. And he and I have been working together on this. And let's welcome Doug, who's our guest the first Monday of every month. Doug, you look a little bit less fatigued than last time I saw you. We were both slugging it out trying to get something going for tonight.
Hey, Coach, how are you? I can't see you, though.
Well, we'll fix that. I want me to see you. Where you want to see me? How about there? There. Go ahead. You're on.
That's a black screen.
Okay. I got it.
Black screen.
I'll fix it.
All right.
You just keep talking.
So I'm super excited about what you're doing. You pulled me into this, and I love it. I sat up one night. I just want to give the backstory here. I sat up one night, and I was researching books from people that write basically the same genre that I'm writing in or the same topics that I'm writing in, but they have a different viewpoint. I want to know why people are listening to them so that I can kind of have rebuttals for some of the arguments that might not be correct or that I might feel aren't correct. I might be wrong, but my heart says go in this direction. And so I'm researching what other people are saying. And I came across one guy that had an about me video. And I said, wow, that's great. It tells me why this guy writes what he writes. And then I started thinking back to a conference, the last conference I was at in North Carolina, and just sitting around chatting with the other writers. And I walked away with a stack of books from people that I met at the conference. If I had a chance to meet you, I bought your book. And that clicked in my brain. If we know somebody, we're more apt to buy their product. It's the people, it's the personality that sells. Otherwise, I may never even know anything about your book, your product. But because I've known you or met you, then I'm interested in what you have to say. So I took that idea and I just wanted to run with it. The one that I saw was about 3.5 minutes. I thought that was a little long. My mind is thinking we need to get something a little shorter for Twitter. Or maybe, I don't know, just maybe something just shorter. The one that you just watched is probably shorter than we want, but I'd love to get your feedback from the chat room. If you think it should be longer or shorter, just let us know. This is just a prototype, but it's really simple to do, and I think that's what the coach and I really want to impress upon you.
Right, Doug. My take is I go to these conferences not as a writer, so I'm observing from a different point of view for certain, and maybe more objective. But there's two themes that I keep hearing over and over and over, and one is platform, and the other is branding. Now, platform, I think we've got a handle on that here at pjnet.tv. Now, we need to grow the platform, but as it grows, writers can simply hop on board, get on stage, and it's borrowed platform is what they would call that. Mm-hmm. So, not struggling so much with platform, but then I got thinking about branding. Now, in the retail market or something, if you're Budweiser, if you're Nike, or Ford, I can see branding being centered around a logo. But then I started, and this is where you and I started engaging and going back and forth, struggling with how do you capture a brand in a logo if you're an author. I mean, okay, a quill feather or a fountain pen, that's about it. And you finally just, I think together, we said, just make anything. It doesn't matter. We'll make it into a brand.
Yeah, and I have to throw credit over to you and Cheryl Lynn. I kind of walked away from it for a little bit because I had other obligations, but you and Cheryl Lynn got together and basically bombarded me and said, "Here, look what we just did for you," and I absolutely loved it. Cheryl Lynn came up with the design. It was on Canva. It's where she did it. And I think most people know how to use Canva now. If not, you'll learn. It's one thing they really teach you at the conferences. Yeah,
it's free.
And then we sent that logo or that image to Coach, and he worked his magic and made it happen. And he can pump those things out. There's just so many different ones he can do. Whatever you like, basically.
One of the goals, Doug, is what I call scalability, which is not exactly the correct use of the term. But when I say scalable, what I mean is that this is available to anybody. You know, you already have, if you have a smartphone, you have the equipment that you need. If you can go open a free account on Canva and just make any logo, that logo that you used is extremely simple. But when you use that logo in the animation, now it becomes vivid, and we can folks, listen to me, we can crank these out like sausages, okay? And this will help with branding. Now, Doug, your blog, your most recent blog, you were able to incorporate that short prototype concept, rough around the edges video, and I believe Sunbelt Girl is standing by with the link to Doug's recent blog post. How hard was it to get that video in your blog?
Well, I'd already posted the blog, but I went back and just edited it and added one more line and copied the link from YouTube and pasted it in for that line, and that was it.
Took about...
Copy, paste.
Yeah. It was your first try. It took you about 30 seconds.
And that's just because my internet was slow.
Right. Yeah. It probably would take about 10 seconds once we get, once you've done it once. It's very simple to add this to your blog. And I think from my understanding is if the people not only know you, but they trust you, you become an authority. If you don't sell yourself, you're going to have to sell each blog article one by one, and then when you come out with a new one, you start that sales process over. I think this is a much better strategy.
It brings more recognition to the game. I'll never forget my dad told me about when he was growing up, all the soft drink companies around town, or different soft drink varieties around town, and then Coca-Cola came in and put their logo on every corner, and eventually the other soft drinks just disappeared. And I think that as writers, we need to borrow from that concept and put our logo out there. Recognition is everything. People need to recognize who you are. We see names, Twitter handles, people on Facebook from time to time, but do we really know anything about them? If you have a logo, it's going to draw attention to you. It's going to make people gravitate and try to find out, well, why is this person doing this? How did they figure out how to do that? Because maybe I need to do something like that. And it just seems to work. I'm gravitated towards people that are doing these things.
Right. The logo makes it possible to have continuity in your marketing. And that way
Yes.
it ties it all together so that you're not starting over each time you try to, quote, sell one of your blog posts, to the public. When they recognize the brand, they trust the brand, they'll read the article because they know what they have some assurance, quality control assurance, that they're going to like it and it's going to be relevant to them. There's another component of this strategy that I think is a game changer, and it revolves around the phrase, "There's a new sheriff in town."
Yeah, I've heard you say that quite a bit, and it is a game changer. It's gonna give us the recognition. Think about when you come across a new post, you don't know who this author is. I mean, you might like the post, maybe, but if it's not in your network of people that you're interacting with frequently, you don't know anything about them. But if there's a logo that grabs your attention in just a few short seconds, the next time you see it, you'll recognize it, and then maybe you'll see it again, and that'll build credibility. You'll recognize this person, and I have to go back and say, when I recognize a person, then I'll go back and I'll read their stuff. I might just blow over somebody I don't recognize,
Right.
but if I recognize the person, I'm going to go back and read.
And it helps, even when other people recommend your read, you see that blog, you see that logo, you see that brand, you see that video. To me, when you we can put these videos together literally in a few minutes, once given a logo. Now, it does take some time to shoot the interview process, but what we saw at the opening of the program was 36 seconds, of which over 20 of them were animations and transitions. There were only, 3 sentences?
3 sentences. That was it.
Now, we actually
And
want
then
to
the
do
one
more
shot-
than that in the future, but for the prototype.
Yeah.
And now you say, well, I'm not good in front of a camera. Well, okay, I think a lot of people feel that way, and that's a fear. But if I told you, when we were doing this afternoon, Doug, all you had to do was remember one sentence, and you just say it, and if it didn't come out right, just pause, take a breath, say it again. The recording is rolling, and we can edit it and put it together. And we also do it twice. We do it once with the camera directly in front of you, and then we move and we do it again with the camera in a different position. And this allows the viewer to feel like they're moving. It's called the parallax effect. Anyway, but it really adds a dimension to it of interest and keeps the attention of the viewer.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I was watching a video with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and in that video, he was instructing how he presents himself to the public. And he says 80% of what you hear publicly from him, he has written down and rehearsed and practiced it. And just like what we did, I don't know how many takes we did, but I read the same lines over and over until we got the inflection that we wanted. But it's real simple to do. I think you told me about this one person that does YouTube videos, and every single line is chosen and edited. So it's really simple. We talked about B-roll. You and I talked about B-roll. You want to explain to the audience what the B-roll is?
Right. A-roll is the subject, okay, the person you're filming or the whatever. And then B-roll provides context, okay? So imagine yourself, well, I've seen a lot of this recently, especially. Churches are streaming their services. So they set a camera up around aisle 4. They aim it at the pulpit and they just stream it. Well, okay, here's how B-roll works. You show, first of all, you have more than one camera, hopefully, but let's say you only had one camera. You need another one, because now what you do is you get about a sentence or two of the speaker, and then you switch to the view of the audience, and you zoom and you pan and you change, or you can show scenery of them filing into the church under different circumstances. In other words, B-roll provides two things. It provides context, and most importantly, it resets the attention span timer. That is very critical. Even when you're talking a minute or 2 minutes, after about 20 seconds, they're drifting, they're gone. Watch videos of people speaking that are done professionally, and you'll see the camera angle change. It won't necessarily go to B-roll, but by changing the camera angle, it literally resets the attention span timer, and it recaptures your attention. It's beautiful.
It is. And pictures are worth 1,000 words. We've always heard that. And when you can get good B-roll to help tell your story, it just adds to it. You're telling a story without even using words. It's emotional. Look for that. And then we're going to throw in the music at some point. And you want to pick music that's going to match the emotion of the story that you're telling about yourself or about your story or your post or whatever. But it's an all immersive type of marketing of ourselves is what we need to go after. That's what's going to set us apart.
Okay, let's kind of review some of the talking points we've talked about, and then we're going to show that video one more time, and now you will be seeing it through a different lens. But first of all, a logo for a writer. This logo is extremely simple. The logo by itself says very little about the product. It's initials and name, and easy to make. They're free on Canva. You can set up an account. They are free. Once we have that logo, we can then do the animation, and these animations are used as transitions between bursts of thoughts. We'll have a thought, then some animation, another thought, another animation, or a series of them depending on how we glue it all together. And the animations, again, are almost as easy as the Canva logo design. So the thing here is this can be produced easily. It can be produced quickly, it can be produced easily, and it can be produced cheaply. If the only thing you have is a smartphone, you have the essential ingredients to do exactly this. So let's look at that video. Did I leave anything out, Doug? You want to add to that before we roll that video one more time?
Just a tripod. A simple tripod is all you need.
Yeah.
To keep the camera from moving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And preferably the headgear that you're using works well. So what we'll do is we'll watch 36 seconds of this once again for your enjoyment. And if you are interested in pursuing this, I hope that you will contact myself or Doug.
Or me.
Yeah. And we can get you on the track, and you can have a video like this tomorrow.
Hey, we need to think about thinking. Do you really know why you believe what you believe? I'm Doug Carter. I'm a philosophy and religion professor, and I write about cultural issues from a biblical perspective.
Folks, that is Screaming Eagle quality. I love it. Doug, I guess you'll be joining us in the chat room shortly. We've got, well, gosh, we're almost out of time. I'm going to give you a moment to wrap it up. But folks, we really sincerely want your feedback. Okay, even if this is not something that you're considering doing, we want your feedback. If you are considering doing this, we want your feedback. This is, to me, the thing that might be holding back most writers. The content's good, Doug. There's plenty of good content out there. How do you get noticed? And I'll give you the last word. We got about 2 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize, it's so easy. Keep a camera with you wherever you go. Take video. Have somebody take video behind you and to your side. Coach gave me some tips there. You want a 3/4 angle. You want a quarter angle. Sorry. You want straight on and straight or behind over your shoulder. But it's not always your face. This is the opportunity where you can show your face. Pictures and videos with you in a crowd. Something that's going to show the context of the story that you're telling. And you never know when you're going to use it. I travel so often, and I realized I don't have video of myself.
hard to
I'm
get
kicking
video
myself.
of yourself, you know. You're right, Doug. Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness, according to Zig Ziglar, and I believe that, folks. You've got to have your camera when you see a scene, and you've got to have your radar up. But if you will, like I say, get with myself, get with Doug, we can help you through the creative process. You may be the most creative writer in the world. But even Doug found himself lacking when it came to cinematography. You know, the creative, it's a different skill set. And you say, I can't talk on camera. Folks, if I showed you the outtakes, you would know that Doug can't either. Okay?
Oh, they're terrible.
So, you know, do not be afraid. I really see this as the catapult that this I believe is holding back some people. And folks, we have to win. One, we're professionals. Number two, the Scripture calls upon us to serve as what? Unto the Lord. The third reason is, folks, we're at war, and we need to win. It's very serious. Okay, so all right, Doug. Anything else? I got to go because Casper's on his way.
No, I'll see everybody in the chat room. Thank you so much,
right.
Coach.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate you, man. Doug Carter. What a friend. What a brother in Christ. What a writer. What a good guy. Folks, in just a few moments, Casper will be joining us at the bottom of the hour here on pjnet.tv. And I want to thank all of you who have joined us in our live chat room, and those that are watching also on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Thank you for joining us there. Hope you'll come visit our chat room where all the fellowship is. And I'm going to leave you with two questions. And you do not have to answer me, but I hope that you will do some introspection along these lines. The first question is this: what is the boldest thing you have ever done for Jesus Christ in your life? And the second one is this: how long ago was that? You see, I challenge myself, and I challenge you to challenge yourself to never be satisfied with either